Those who joined us for last year's series, welcome back. Anybody who's new, hello, welcome to the series. My name is Charlie. I am your CSP webinar host. Been doing this with Destination Canada for a number of years now. So it's lovely to be back and to be hosting the UK series again this year. You'll sort of get used to the format. We have two presenters at each update. So I've got two fabulous gentlemen waiting in the wings for you. We will get started in just a second. But before we do, I would like to acknowledge the Indigenous peoples and traditional custodians of all the lands that we learn about today. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the territory of the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations peoples who have called these lands home for generations beyond measure. Okay, let's make a start. So, welcome back to the Canada Specialist Program Series, our first update for 2024. We have two presenters for you today. Gents, please join me. Here they come. Adam and Wayne. Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hey,
We'll
Charlie.
start with Wayne because it's going to be a quick in and out for Wayne for now. Wayne, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to be back. The year's kind of flown by. I can't believe we're doing this again so
I
quickly.
know. We kicked off the series with Air Canada and Destination Canada a year ago. So it's been a quick year, Wayne, but it's great to have you back. Wayne, we'll say goodbye to you for now because you're going to come on. Adam's going to go first. So, Wayne, we will see you in a bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. And Adam, welcome back to the Canada Specialist Program Series. Adam, how are you doing?
Hey, yeah, I'm really good, Charlie. It's good to have you back with us hosting. So, yeah, no, it's good to kick it off again.
Yeah, kicking off with you, Adam, with all the latest news from Destination Canada and things. But Adam, you've been in Canada recently as well, right?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get up to the Yukon in the
Nice.
beginning of February, which was amazing. I've got a few pics and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. And then, yeah, last week we were on the road. We were doing our travel gossip takeovers. So we were in Liverpool. I wasn't actually there because I was at another event in London, but I was at Leeds. We had a really good night. We had about 50 agents, really good crowd, good atmosphere, yeah, good food, good drinks, and yeah, lots of learning. So we had a good week.
Ah, well done. Good to be in destination, good to be out on the road, and of course, good to be online today with you, Adam. So I'm going to let you take it away, please.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, everyone. It's good to see you all. Thanks for joining. I know forever it's busy, so I appreciate you giving up some time to hear what we've got to say. So I'm just going to I've got a short presentation. I'm just going to do a few sort of key messages at the beginning and then talk a little bit about our sort of seasonal focus for this year. I've just put this, I've got a new map, or it's a newish map, so I kind of quite like to include it, but I think hopefully you all know where Canada is. I think it's always quite good to see this map because it does really show how big Canada is and how much great stuff there is to do there. So again, I always like to start with flight times. Obviously, we've got Wayne with us from Air Canada, and Air Canada fly all over Canada, but it would be remiss of me if I didn't mention that we have actually got a St. John's flight back with WestJet. So they're starting flying this summer. So we've got seasonal flights, only 5 hours. And then Halifax, obviously Air Canada picks that up year round, is 6 hours. So that East Coast, we always keep saying is I sell it as mid-haul. It's really quite close. Then obviously West Coast, we're looking at 9-10 hours to get over there. I always think it's good to think about how your clients are going to get around. You might have seen these slides before, but I think it's really key to kind of work out what is the best form of transport for your clients in Canada. And we've got some really good seat and coach operators. If your clients like that way of touring, we love the train. Obviously, we've got Via Rail, which is our national rail network, and they've got some phenomenal journeys. We've got like the Canadian, obviously, which runs from Toronto to Vancouver. They've got trains like the Ocean that runs from Montreal to Halifax. We've got the Skeena in BC. You've got the train up to Churchill as well. So yeah, Via Rail is fab. And actually, we've had some really good press coverage on some winter train journeys recently. So actually doing the Canadian in winter, which is really quite an epic experience. And obviously we've got Rocky Mountaineer as well, which is super popular on a lot of people's bucket lists and sells a lot of Canada trips for us. Don't forget the RV. Obviously, Canada's great for doing an RV trip. For that, the right clients, families as well, it's a nice option. For those that are a little bit more adventurous, want to be under their own steam. But ultimately, I think everyone should, if they drive in the UK, they should do a self-drive trip. This is Cape Breton, and obviously for me, driving is the best way to go. And then also we've got loads of other cool ways to get around, and certainly getting on the heli in Niagara, doing float planes if you head out to BC is really worth it, even if you do the scenic flight over Vancouver, which actually on my Yukon fan, the guys did. I had to go to the office that day, but it said it was brilliant. So there's a couple of focuses I want to talk about really for us this year. We're really trying to lean into a sort of seasonal focus, and then really a lot of tourist boards trying to do this, but trying to get that year-round business. So fall, autumn as we know it, we're really pushing into fall this year. So travel in September, October. Obviously, September travel is really popular already, but we're really trying to push that season into October. And I think what not everyone knows is we do get the fall colours in Canada. So I'm going to show you some images, but again, this is a really nice picture of, hopefully it's the Chateau Frontenac in Quebec City, that beautiful Fairmont Hotel, and you can see the wonderful fall colours. So a couple of kind of themes as well within this presentation is wildlife, and which again is really, there's lots to see in the fall. So obviously whale watching we have across Canada that runs right through to October. So these are the humpbacks in Newfoundland and Labrador. I think supposedly you get about 10,000 up there. So good chance of seeing humpbacks. We've also got great whale watching in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, in the Bay of Fundy. So again, that's a good option. Cape Breton is beautiful up in Nova Scotia, but again, I just put this slide in really to see those fall colours. So you get the fall colours across Canada, but particularly in the Maritimes, Ontario and Quebec. So again, Algonquin, look at those colours there. Ontario has really good fall colours. So again, you don't need to go to New Hampshire in the US. We've got it in Canada. So anyone doing an Eastern Canada trip will get the fall colours if they're there in sort of September into October. But also back to the wildlife, there's our lovely polar bear friends, and fall is October, November is a great time to see them. You can go in the summer, which is one of the pictures, couple of pictures there. But really most people like to go and see them in the fall. October, November is the time to see it. And you can get this subarctic safari. But we mustn't forget, obviously, the Rockies and Banff. Obviously, we've got some, we do get some fall colours there as well. We've got Lake Louise there in the fall. Heading into October, it can be a little bit quieter as well. That sort of mid to late September, October trip. I mean, I always say before we were pushing fall, actually September, I think, is one of the best times to go to Canada. And that still stands, definitely. And then, head over the border in BC. We've still got really good wildlife opportunities. And BC's got phenomenal wildlife. Again, we've got the whales, we've got the bears, we've got the spirit bears, we've got the eagles. And, the bear lodges, which book up quite early, there's a great opportunity to see the bears feeding on the salmon then, which is, again, quite a unique experience. So we've got that. We're doing that kind of autumn fall push, and then really we're pushing into winter. So we're trying to get people to travel September to March. Obviously, winter, Canada has proper winter, and I'll just talk a little bit about that now. So starting in Quebec City, again, we had that picture of the Chateau Frontenac. They have a phenomenal carnival. So in Eastern Canada, we've got lots of winter festivals like Winterlude in Ottawa. So that is a really good trip that you can do in the winter. You can take the VRL train. We've got the Ice Hotel in Quebec as well, which is quite unique. And then Ottawa, the Rideau Canal, which is famous, freezes over and becomes the biggest skate rink in the world. And you can hire some skates, get out on there. And then obviously heading down to Niagara, it kind of nearly freezes. It's never quite frozen, but again, it's still as beautiful in the winter, and probably a few less people there as well. So you can get those Instagram pictures. But also Northern Lights, not everyone knows Canada for Northern Lights, but we do have a really good aurora viewing season, and that really starts kind of, you know, from mid-August really right through into March. So it's, you know, it's perfect for our kind of fall winter push. So NWT, Northwest Territories, this is a place called Aurora Village, which is really spectacular just outside of Yellowknife. I think Yellowknife gets something like Aurora on 240 nights of the year. So again, it's never guarantees, but there's a really good chance of seeing Aurora. And then obviously British Columbia has some great winter experiences. So I've just put this picture of Whistler heading out snowmobiles. So it's not all about skiing in Whistler. They've got all the winter experiences. Actually, Wayne's colleague Jez is over there now. I think he's flying back soon, but there's a great picture of him doing the zip lining. So you can do the zip lining in the winter, which is a really good experience. But I just wanted to take a bit of time at the end to talk about the Yukon. So I was lucky enough to go up to the Yukon with Della, who some of you will know, who's our wonderful UK rep. And we were a small group there and we had a phenomenal time. So this was the beginning of February. And one of the highlights was we took this light aircraft out of Whitehorse and we flew to Southern Lakes Resort. It's quite a short flight, 25 minutes, but we landed on the lake and it was amazing. We got met by skidoos and taken to our chalets. There's also a picture of us here in the hot springs. They do this really cool thing every year where they have this crazy hair competition. So you can see it a little bit with us, but you get your hair wet and then you kind of freezes and then you can basically put it in weird shapes. I haven't got much hair, but like there's a picture of a girl on the website. You can look it up. She's got like a hairbrush in her hair. It's really cool. So yeah, the hot springs is definitely worth it. We did dog sledding, which is phenomenal. So you see me here wearing all this gear. You rent the gear, so that turns up at your hotel. I don't know, some of you might know I've got MS. I'm a bit disabled, but I still managed to get on the back of a dog sled, which I was quite proud of myself actually. So that was good, as well as sitting in it as well. So we had a really good dog sled, and then we kind of boys' toys. We got to take the snowmobiles out on the lake, which was really cool. The only thing which was a little bit disappointing is we didn't see the Northern Lights, and they were out one night when we weren't in the Whitehorse. So that was a bit of a shame, but it didn't really spoil the experience. We had a phenomenal time. So yeah, but Northern Lights, you know, we should have seen them, but they got away from us. So yeah, that's it for my presentation. A couple of things. Obviously, you know, we've got our Canada Specialist program. You know, we've got the app. So if you're not up to platinum level, please do take that. And then a couple of things to finish on. We've got our elite program we're launching this year. So our elite CSP, we've reached out to a lot of you to find our elites. I'm going to be letting you know who's made that program. So that's quite exciting. We've got some special fam trips for those top selling travel agents, but also we're going to be running some other fam trips for our all our other lovely CSPs. We're going to be leaning into our tour operator partners. So there's going to be some trips coming up later in the year, which I'll be able to talk about on the next few webinars. And then don't forget our road shows. We are on the road again in June. We're heading up to Scotland, to Glasgow and Edinburgh, which is great. Just booked my flights. So that's the beginning, the 4th and 5th, I think. 4th in Glasgow, 5th in Edinburgh. And then we're back in October, early October, we're in London and we're Brighton. So we tried to cover off the whole of the country. But that's it. I think my time's up. It's good to see you all. Thanks for joining us. Great numbers there, 85. Most of you have my contact details, so if you've got any questions, give me a shout, but I'll hang around afterwards. Back to you, Charlie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. I mean, it's pretty difficult to cover a country the size of Canada in 10 minutes, right? So, but you did a great job there and focusing on some of those, you know, the seasons, the fall and the winter. Amazing. I mean, there's never a bad time to be in Canada, right? But just some of those amazing activities during those times, and it's absolutely stunning. So thank you. Great to see your pictures of the Yukon as well. I think a few of us are a bit jealous about that trip. Looks good.
Yeah, it was one of the best ones I've done actually. I mean, I've been in DC 10 years and it's just so different. And you know, it was minus 39, which was kind of quite an experience in itself. But yeah, I loved it. It was really kind of really frontier, but we had a great time.
Yeah, so good. And yes, the F word, FAM's coming back again. That's so good to get
Yeah.
people there and to really experience it. But of course, the kind of specialist program, the online program is amazing as well. So if anybody is new today or this is new to you, then that is your next stop is to jump onto the program. And for those of you who've registered, go back in and complete your modules and go through the program to become a platinum CSP agent and get those self-fulfill offers as well. So nice one. Thank you, Adam. Okay.